all the coffee trivia you could possibly want. It's Persona 5.
I love coffee trivia.
It's actually been a pretty big highlight of the game for me. Boy, it took me a while to figure out how to get the little accent, the accented N there, but I did. It's all for you, the viewer.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
I commit so hard.
Mm-hmm. See, oh yeah. Then
I don't want to think of a coffee that is viscous and coats the mouth, but whatever you say, Sakura.
It's very much a coffee that evokes the taste of nut butter.
That just makes me immediately think of like a. You've heard of that like type of coffee where you melt a stick of butter in it, right?
Yeah, what is bulletproof or something?
Is that what it's called?
I think it's something
Man,
like
that.
It's like.
Have you ever had it?
No, I've never had it. I think I might. I mean, I use milk in coffee. That's kind of the same thing.
Sure, but it's like, man, do you use double heavy cream though? It's like that's. I don't know. I feel like I want to try it, but I'm also like, I don't know if I can live that lifestyle. I'm already basically melting cheese and drinking it as beverage as it is.
Same. I mean, that's melted cheese.
That's the
put that in tortillas. Yeah, you've just invented Taco Bell.
Oh man, if only. I haven't been to Taco Bell in quite a while, actually. Not a terrible thing, but I do like getting the occasional 7-layer burrito. They're good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By the way, speaking of which, I was giving you some shit on the stream about what you're actually making
going and getting coffee every day, which I did, by the way. I've already done that.
Yeah, I believe it. No, I've been cold brewing coffee. It's actually really easy to do. You just
look at you.
Yeah,
but I like the mocha. I like the chocolate.
Seems like that would be really easy to incorporate. Oh, by the way, I'm just realizing you can actually see Mishima in this class. Far down.
Oh yeah, he's been here the entire time. Actually, Anne's right in front of me. Yeah. Same thing, and actually, I think those are the only two notable characters in here. So. But he's been appearing since the very beginning of the game, which is why I think he might have been even like one of the first classmates you saw, maybe aside from N, that actually got like a portrait. Which is why I thought that he would maybe be on the team.
This is such a weird.
I said before that.
Sorry, that aside by Morgana is so weird. Like a lot of terrible people are really decent on the outside. Not Lady Anne though. She's perfect. Inside and out.
Yeah. Well. We've established before that it's like Morgana's he's not gonna get anywhere with this, but he's gonna keep trying, even though it's not like Anne is here. Whatever. Anyway.
Wait, does he have
it's a big day.
Does he have a crush on Anne? Is that what they're implying?
Does he? Did you miss the part where he was shooting cartoon hearts out of his head the first time he saw her?
Oh, I did actually. I might have actually missed that.
Oh yeah, I guess you probably weren't there, were you? And it's not like you watched the original run of the series or anything. But I was going to say, I always thought that Mishima was actually Yusuke because, they kind of have a similar haircut.
Yeah, I made that mistake, I think, a couple of streams ago.
Because, obviously, they're two very different characters, but they're still anime and they got the same hair. Well, anyway. What do you mean, something? All these. Why don't they ever give me any actual responses that would? Whatever. Anyway, why even bother asking these sort of questions?
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that question. Why even bother? No.
Oh, we can if you want, but we're not going to.
All right.
We can if you want, but no. Oh, no, wait, no, you can't.
Which is why
I'm not going to.
Right now, we're trying to be entertaining.
More coffee trivia.
Cuban crystal.
Yes.
Classic nut butter.
Why do you keep saying nut butter?
I saw the stream where you did that. Okay. Somebody found it.
Oh yeah, we talked about nut butter for like 20 minutes. I forgot.
Yeah, you did it while you were fighting the Hand of the King. All right, sorry.
Oh right. Yeah, no, those streams have had like weird themes every single time I've been starting them up. The last one was me making a gigantic slurping noise for like 20 straight seconds.
I did not see that.
Oh, it's in the comment section of the Boomerang video. If you want to go check that out.
I don't think I will.
Oh, come on. No, you want to go check it out.
It again has a sweet, nutty flavor with Lois.
Dude, it's not viscous and it doesn't coat the mouth. Okay, here we go.
By the way, kind of a weird localization. No. Oh, here we go. Yeah. No, you take this.
Okay, one. Yeah, it's like, hey, we're getting the old
Change of heart.
confession thing again. And to be honest, we do get one real good avatar face out of this.
Mm-hmm.
I love that one. That's great. It is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, so when I was like transcribing this particular section, oh no, that's the intonation he uses when he's about to go on a bit. Everybody abandon ship right now. It's like, okay, so when I was transcribing this section, it's like there is something specifically about that one guy. Well, pretty much everybody that's sitting here watching this, they're just watching a guy. They don't know who Madarame is. I mean, they recognize him as, hey, wasn't he on TV the other day or whatever? But it's like they're sitting here, they are seeing a man just absolutely overcome with remorse, weeping openly and loudly. And their response is just purely, how pathetic. Look at this. Look at how much he is crying. How sad to see. It's just, there is such a total lack of empathy in this. They don't know who this guy is. We know who Madarame is, but that guy doesn't know. What is up with this? We talked a little bit earlier about how this game is like the embodiment of Twitter. And it's like, man, just that there. It's like, as somebody who's got like some pretty bad anxiety, to think of somebody being so callous and cruel to somebody they're just seeing literally on the screen, bawling their eyes out, is like the worst case scenario possible for me. And it's like, it was honestly pretty depressing to do this part.
It's like the kind of thing that you have like a negative fantasy about, and then you tell yourself, no, of course not, that's stupid. It's not actually how the world works.
No, people don't actually care about me enough that it's like they're just going to stare at me and judge me. Everybody's so judgmental and so mean in this world. And it's like, man, that's... and of course, it's like this is going to be a theme throughout the next episode where it's like people just continuously make fun of Madarame for crying. And it's like, my God. I mean, the other thing especially, it's like that I was really thinking about when I saw this was it reminded me of a specific bit from a book I read recently, The Brothers Karamazov. No, this is germane to the conversation.
I read it too. Don't worry, you can go.
Everybody already left after I started going on the bit in the first place.
I think you've got quite an audience of Russians.
Well, anyway, it's like just especially this whole thing, like seeing people being so callous and cruel to each other. It just reminded me of a specific bit in that book where they talked about a story of a prisoner who was about to be executed, and basically it's like he was a thief, he was a murderer since he was a small child, everything like that. Just like the absolute worst person. But many people, many faithful people, priests and townsfolk had come in, talked to him continuously, and got him to feel remorse for his actions. He had converted to Christianity, and he was feeling penitent and crying and weeping, so sad over all the things he did, and everybody else was so happy and joyous and smiling and laughing. They led him up to the gallows to be hung. And it's just that entire story was about, like, even if you want forgiveness for a person, even if you really try to make them truly penitent and truly forgiving, there's still a streak of cruelty in your heart that wants to see justice done, a certain vindictiveness that you can't shake regardless of how much you believe in true forgiveness for your fellow man. And it was said in such like a bitter, sad way, because like Dostoevsky still truly did feel that it's like to truly be a good Christian, that it's like you have to be able to forgive people even though he knows that in his heart he still does want to see that man be hung.
You know, it's funny you say that. First of all, hanged. Okay, so
Whatever.
no, I'm sorry. But I'm not sure if you know this, but Dostoevsky was when he was younger, he was a member of some radical movements. I forget it was like the Decembrists or but like he was he eventually was actually sentenced to be executed, and the whole thing, he was led up to the the execution. I believe it was going to be a firing squad, and then turns out the whole thing was a fake. I mean, it was a mock execution designed to inspire, fear and also mercy in the people that he was that were sentenced like this, and it profoundly changed him. And I forget if there's one of those if there's actually a mock execution.
There was. Father Zosima had the same thing happen to him in that story. There's also another very similar story to another very germane story to Persona 5, actually in that same passage, where after talking to an old man, kind of like a venerable patron of the town who is known for being very, very kind and charitable and everything like that. After getting to talk to Zosima in that same story, he eventually did have his own change of heart, where he confessed to murdering a man, sneaking in when he was asleep and stabbing him in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, Zosima obviously was taken aback by this, but it's like, the old man felt much, much better about being able to confess this and told everybody in the town about it and everything. And although he died like a day later, it's like everybody did know of his past misdeeds. And do you know how they treated him?
They were fair and honorable to them.
No, they were furious at Zosima because they're just like, no, he was such a good part of
he ruined it. He ruined
of the community. It's like, how you must have done something to him. Whereas, like, think about how we got like the Phantom Thieves here, where everybody just immediately turns on whoever. It's just, well, it's the entire thing. It kind of goes back to the original point that I was going to say about the man who was going to be hanged, and like the cruelty that you feel in your heart. Where it's just like Persona 5 takes a very, very different look at like forgiveness and remorse and everything like that, where they're way, way more fire and brimstone about the whole thing. Where it's like the faithful, the Phantom Thieves, will be saved, and the guilty will be thrown into the lake of fire, and we should all be cheering and jeering at them for that.
Yeah, you're right. It is much more interesting and nuanced and really compassionate in what these anecdotes, because it's like, I mean, clearly he's not sympathizing with the townspeople, the mob, for basically just saying, judging.
No, he actually is very sympathetic because he knows he feels the same way.
Yeah.
He wants to forgive, but he also knows that it's like there's a certain vindictiveness that he still feels, even in spite of it.
And that does, I don't even want to I don't want to judge whether this is right or wrong, but that definitely is a dynamic that happens on Twitter where, we find individuals that are often representative of terrible causes, legitimately terrible representatives of collective forces, but we use shame and judgment on them as a proxy for a battle against the collective forces that they represent. And I'm always that doesn't, if I were in the same situation, I might do the same thing because I'm under the same incentives. And I think there's some parallel there.
There is definitely a point to be made where it's just the characters here are obviously completely evil, one-dimensional, paper-thin villains. We've kind of talked about that before. So it's just is it? Am I? I mean, here's the thing. Even outside of the whole Christian aspect of it, it's I do believe in the whole being able to forgive everybody for if they're truly remorseful and everything like that. Mm-hmm. But it's we're talking about these one-dimensional, paper-thin villains.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I also feel there's still that sort of certain vindictiveness, fire and brimstone sort of mentality that it's seems just very mean-spirited in a way that I'm not entirely sure if maybe that is intentional by the developers of Persona, where the idea is supposed to be that it's the rehabilitation has nothing to do with him committing a crime, but more being his vindictiveness towards society is more of the crime than, you know, pushing down Shido months ago. And then it's like the idea that people have no empathy in this world is going to be explored more in the future as we realize that, you know, that we do have forgiveness for characters like Torinosuke, but we have no forgiveness for Madarame, even though he's sitting up there on screen crying with how emotional he is right now.
And the whole idea is like, oh, well, he's mentally sound and healthy, but it's like clearly he's legitimately had a change of heart, literally. And it's just like, it's like
the wildest thing about the whole, like I said, fire and brimstone aspect that the Phantom Thieves take here is that the idea of stealing somebody's distorted desires would imply that at the core of every man is a pure soul who does feel remorse for their actions. So to have them be completely cruel and callous towards them after they start to beg for forgiveness is a really weird juxtaposition if you think about it.
Oh yeah, and everything about this is like, how much of the repetitiveness that we've gone into repetitively ourselves of the main plots, how much of that is reflective of, you know, writing, just collective writing rooms that are just not well structured, where they are writing the text for the IMs and the conversations in 3 different. We've gone over that. What I'm wondering is how much is that, and how much of this is some sort of attempt, maybe not a very well executed attempt at like really pounding it home that these are bad people and they need to be punished, and
you need to feel, you need to be cathartic when you see them crying in front of you. I don't know. It's just, again, there's two minds that I have on the subject, which is how much am I overreacting due to my own personal beliefs, and how much is just like a bizarre sort of. Because here's the thing. I'll say this right now. It's like even though Persona 5 definitely does have some hallmarks of like a revenge story, I don't count Revenge Against the Man as a revenge story, as we saw Ryuji talking about earlier. That's not the same thing. This is not. When I say revenge story, I'm talking about you going on a grand adventure, usually with the intent to kill somebody, basically, risking life and limb so that you can murder somebody who has wronged you in the past, something like that. But it's like that certain like vindictiveness still has that feeling to it. It has the characteristics of that sort of story anyway, and we all know how much I dislike that. So, this game is bringing out the passion in me in a way that I never thought that it would.
Well, that's one of those, like, the weird things about this experiment where I think this is episode, is it 39 or 40?
It is 39.
39. And you've been doing this, you've been translating this for countless hours. Okay, we could count it, but it would take longer than one of these freaking episodes. It would probably be 600, 700 hours at least. Is my guess.
Just an absurd amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been living with this. You've been, you know, repeating every line over and over again, and you've been like,
I've seen every line many times.
And so, you know, to the extent that anytime a writer made a choice on this game, you have become uncomfortably aware of that choice, even whether or not you wanted to. Because
I mean, this is something I've definitely noticed playing through the game, is that there's a certain point where writing gets so awful that it does take you out of it, and you look more towards the writer's room than the characters who are actually saying the lines. But like, it's just, I don't know. It's not even so much that. I mean, I think that it's just like the beliefs of the game are so against my own that I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that's it.
You're spending so much time with something that is just
that I disagree with so vehemently.
You've had time to realize that you don't agree with it, and now you're done. You don't have any more work. This is actually the last.
Which is the weird thing is, you know, talking about Dostoevsky again, it's like, I don't agree with that guy on a lot of stuff, but he definitely made points that that I found evocative and interesting.
Definitely, like, very, very psychologically insightful. Just,
Very, very insightful for 1800s Russia and Orthodox Christianity at that time. Well, anyway, that's neither here nor there. I mean, it's still like the entire story of those Zosama and the old man. It's just like, man,
yeah,
that's what you would expect to happen, right?
That's with me. It's funny that it's funny because the old man, like in that story,
it's so analogous to exactly what's going on in this.
Well,
game.
I mean, but he's happy at the end of his life. He confesses his crime. And it doesn't erase all the good that he did in his life. I mean, how could it?
Yeah.
He's been doing good for years and years.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like the villains in this game do not do good.
Yeah.
They are incapable of doing good.
Yeah. Like, and even in real life.
We've even gone over that with just like Kamoshida. The only thing that he ever did in his life was win a gold medal. And it's like, that's not even like, necessarily like a good thing. That is just like a laudable accomplishment.
Yeah.
That's not a charitable act that he performed.
Yeah,
and it's like the fact that they even still gave him that at the end of his storyline is still... especially because everything about Madarame, everything was taken away from him.
They could have easily made it, he actually used steroids. It was a big...
He cheated or something, yeah.
Because no one who's a bad person could ever, they could never win something on merit, even if it's just something as simple as athletic accomplishment or art. Like, I mean, I wonder how much they're trying to absolve themselves for, like, with Madarame, it's like, well, he's a brilliant artist, so we have to tear him down even as an artist. It's like, except, I think, I found that it's nice to just accept that artists are flawed, often more flawed than the rest of us, because it's those flaws that give them the strength to do the art. Like, I wouldn't recommend anyone who's watching this live your life as a content creator. That's morally perverse.
Nah, do it. It's fun.
I mean, no.
I say do it.
Okay, fine. I do recommend it.
I gave away my old microphone when I got this new one to somebody who wanted to somebody who had a son who wanted to get into content creation.
Oh my god! And that's like a moral.
Yes, I'm perpetuating the cycle.
That's morally fraught behavior. Like you probably had like a real crisis. Like shit.
I have $80 microphone for free. Use it to record Minecraft videos. I'm that guy that gives you the haunted NES cart at the flea market. And then the microphone just starts shooting out hyper realistic blood.
Yeah. It's Doc, the famous creator. I could just see that. That's like sounds like an Earthbound subplot or something.
Then I absorb his fame, his subscribers into my own when he fails and becomes disillusioned with life. And that's how I gain my immortality.
You're right.
Well, anyway, Madarame is a shit, but like, I don't know. I feel like when a man is sitting up on television crying, it's like, to be like, how pathetic is just too much.
Yeah, it reminds me of Tom York in a South Park episode like 20 years ago. Like he's from Radiohead, just like teasing the child who's like crying. It's just like, stop crying.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Oh man. Well, anyway, nobody has any empathy in this world. Maybe that's gonna be like a twist that we're gonna be exploring. The idea of like the rehabilitation that like Igor was talking about. It's that you were thrown into a world with no empathy, and you need to rehabilitate that because even you have that particular flaw in yourself.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the party has that collective flaw. Like, how much time do they actually spend like talking about, Madarame
we were talking, I was ranting over it, but Ryuji was like, hey, we're more popular than ever.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
Oh man, it's like, Persona 5. I started out this series by being like my old friend, my ancient enemy, and it's weird how even 39 parts in, it's still true.
Darts is a party where you play in pairs.
Anyway, yeah, we are doing darts now. I think this is a royal thing. I want to say that Kishijoji was not in the original game, but I didn't play up until this part, so I have no idea. But it's like, ultimately this is about, what, leveling up your baton pass, and baton pass seems pretty good, especially if you're going to eventually start getting SP regain from it. So, yeah, keep playing darts, man.
Is this an actual minigame, or are you just, like, watching them play?
No, thankfully this is not Shenmue in that way. We're playing high-stakes darts. Excuse me, do you know where I can find somebody to play high-stakes darts with?
Wow, he really, that was a really understated reaction by Ryuji. Hey, I got a triple 20 that's even better than your double bullseye.
Yeah, no, Ryuji cares more about how he's doing. This is a competition. Well, actually, no, they're pairing up now, but still. Yeah, no, it's maybe there is an actual minigame, because there is like a batting cage minigame. Again, very well, not Shenmue, but Yakuza. But like, I don't think I ever showed that. It's not that interesting, to be honest. And it also levels up your proficiency, your skill meta stat, which is like the easiest one to get up, because you just do Phantom Thief tools over and over.
So what stat is this, by the way?
This is your baton pass. When you get like a critical or a weakness on an enemy, you can choose to like pass your bonus turn you get from that to your partner instead, and now you get damage up and a little bit of HP increase.
Okay, so this is almost like it's like a meta skill that's gonna help you.
Yeah, it's like a meta stat between your party members, I guess.
That seems cool.
I mean, it's only between Ryuji and main character, though, so I gotta figure out how to do that for the rest of the party members.
Yeah.
Morgana's probably gonna be automatic, because what sort of activities could I possibly do with him?
I mean, you better have like a tight bond with Morgana at this point. You just spend every waking minute.
We got a tight bond in the way that I'm literally carrying him around everywhere. Like a physical bond, almost.
I'm actually surprised the main character just is pretty, like, frail and weak, like, looking. Just because, like, you'd think carrying around a cat everywhere, even like a small cat, would just, like, eventually just get you, like, really buff in your upper body.
It's a cat.
I know, but it's still like 10 pounds. You're carrying it every single place. I mean, it's like parents.
Big believer in the weighted clothing method of like Dragon Ball Z training.
I do actually believe that. I do.
All right, fine. I was being sarcastic.
I remember when I was in middle school, I brought weights into my backpack because I thought that would work. Yeah.
Just shove more books in there.
Yeah.
Also, no, that just gonna mess up your back.
Yeah. I mean,
because that's the muscles you're using to carry that around.
Well, I mean, like, you're carrying it in front of you sometimes too, though.
We haven't seen main character's lower back. Maybe he's got like some super huge what are those muscles called?
I know what you're talking about, like the lower back muscles. Yeah.
Yeah, they look like two miniature pectorals down there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just horrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
Back up.
Yeah, I bet it is. Well, I mean, little do they know who they'd be messing with. The transfer student.
What is the Kichi
That was the area we just went to.
Okay.
It was a new area that was just unlocked.
Okay.
We'll be seeing a little bit more of it soon enough.
Okay.
Because there's another... going to be doing like a little bit of... before we go after Kaneshiro, we're going to be doing a little bit of Mementos work. Starting, of course, with another Misha mission. I forgot what we called it last time, even though it's been less than a day.
Thank you for playing it.
2 days? Whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm pulling the old insurance scam.
Okay.
Except instead of getting hit by a car, he gets into fights? Sure. Why not?
Well, I mean, lawyers are known to do that. There are certain lawyers who will do that. They will get into fights and then they will sue you over a dry cleaner or whatever. I guess
I can't disagree because I have no idea, but that sounds fake.
Oh no, there's like a lawyer who sued this dry cleaner for like 12 years and just like ask for like hundreds of millions of dollars. It's a really weird situation.
No, I do know about that. That's called like a phone number lawsuit, where it's just like the amount of money you're asking for is literally a phone number.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we'll be doing that one not next time, but the next time.
Nice.